Welcome to Farming Aid. They may be small in size, but they're making a huge impression in the world of farming. Miniature cattle, with their adorable faces, gentle personalities, and surprisingly big benefits, are stealing hearts and changing the way people think about raising livestock. From family farms and hobby homesteads to suburban backyards with enough space for a pasture, these pint-sized bovines are proving that you don't need massive land or towering cows to enjoy the rewards of cattle ownership. In today's video, we're diving into the world of miniature cattle. Discovering why they're becoming so popular, how they fit perfectly into small-scale and sustainable farming, and what makes them such a joy to raise. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just someone who loves the idea of tiny hooves trotting toward you for a scratch behind the ears, you're about to see why these little cows have such big hearts. One of the first things people notice about miniature cattle is their size, and while that is often what draws initial attention, their personality is what keeps people hooked. Unlike some larger breeds that can be intimidating, miniature cattle tend to be approachable and curious, making them perfect for those who are new to animal husbandry. Their big, soulful eyes seem to follow you around the pasture. Their small muzzles reach out to sniff your hand, and they often greet their owners with a low, friendly moo. This temperament has made them increasingly popular not only as working farm animals, but also as pets. For families looking to raise animals alongside children, miniature cattle offer a safer and more manageable introduction to livestock care. Their lower weight means they are less likely to cause accidental harm, yet they are still sturdy enough to handle typical pasture life. Whether standing quietly under a shade tree or trotting toward a bucket of feed, these little cows radiate a sense of calm that is almost therapeutic. From a practical standpoint, miniature cattle make sense in today's changing agricultural landscape. With the rising cost of land and feed, farmers and homesteaders are looking for animals that provide high returns without high overhead. Miniature cattle fit perfectly into this equation. They require far less space than standard cattle, with a pair comfortably living on just a couple of acres. This makes them ideal for small farms, hobby ranches, and even for people who want to turn and used land into a productive venture. Their reduced size also means lower feed costs, often a third to half of what a full-size cow would consume, while still offering valuable yields in milk or meat. And because they put less stress on pasture land, they're also a more environmentally friendly option. In many cases, miniature cattle have proven to be more efficient converters of feed to product, making them a surprisingly economical choice for anyone seeking a sustainable livestock solution. Another advantage of these little wonders is their versatility. Miniature cattle are not a single breed, but rather a range of breeds selectively bred down in size over generations. This means that there are miniature versions of popular dairy breeds for those who want milk, as well as miniature beef breeds for those focused on meat production. The milk from miniature dairy breeds often has a higher butterfat content, making it excellent for home cheese making, butter, and cream. And because these cows produce less milk at a time, it's easier for a small household to consume and process without waste. On the beef side, miniature cattle can produce tender, flavorful cuts without the need for massive storage or processing facilities. This balance of practicality and scale allows smallholders to remain self-sufficient and even sell surplus products locally without overextending resources. The upkeep and handling of miniature cattle also set them apart from their larger cousins. Their smaller frames make routine care, such as hoof trimming, grooming, or veterinary checks, less physically demanding. Transporting them is easier too, often requiring smaller trailers and less fuel. This accessibility has opened up cattle ownership to a whole new demographic of people, including retirees, young couples starting their homesteading journey, and those who simply want livestock that fits into a lifestyle rather than dominating it. For anyone concerned about safety or manageability, The difference in scale between a full-sized bull and a miniature bull is considerable. Yet despite their reduced stature, miniature bulls still command respect and require proper handling, ensuring that owners learn responsible animal management without the high risks associated with massive livestock. In terms of breeding and herd management, miniature cattle also offer unique opportunities. Their gestation period is similar to that of standard cattle, around 9 months, but because of their size, calving is often easier, with fewer complications. This can reduce veterinary expenses and increase the survival rate of both calves and mothers. The calves themselves are irresistibly cute, often resembling plush toys brought to life, and their small size makes them far less fragile than many people expect. Watching them bound through the pasture, tails in the air, is enough to make even the most seasoned farmer smile. Because miniature cattle breeds are often carefully maintained through selective breeding programs, they tend to have fewer genetic issues and can live long, healthy lives with proper care. The rise in popularity of miniature cattle is also tied to changing cultural attitudes toward farming. More people are seeking a connection to their food sources, and raising livestock, on a manageable scale, offers that connection in the most direct way possible. The daily routine of feeding, milking, or simply walking out to greet the herd becomes part of a more grounded, self-reliant lifestyle. Social media has played a role too, with photos and videos of adorable miniature cows going viral, sparking interest from people who may have never set foot on a farm. While cuteness may be the hook, it's the practicality, personality, and sustainability of these animals that keeps that interest alive. They embody the idea that farming doesn't have to be intimidating or industrial. It can be personal, hands-on, and deeply rewarding. Economically, miniature cattle can be a smart investment. Their popularity has driven demand, meaning breeders often find themselves with waiting lists for calves. Depending on breed, lineage, and training, prices for miniature cattle can rival or even surpass those of standard cattle. For entrepreneurial farmers, this creates an opportunity to build a specialized niche market. Some owners even rent out their miniature cattle for educational programs, petting zoos, or agri-tourism events, where visitors can interact with the animals in a safe, controlled environment. This kind of diversification not only boosts farm income, but also educates the public about agriculture, animal care, and the importance of sustainable farming practices. The environmental footprint of miniature cattle is another area where they shine. Because they consume less feed, they produce less manure and methane compared to standard cattle, making them a more eco-friendly livestock option. This doesn't mean they're without environmental impact, but in a time when sustainability is at the forefront of agricultural planning, their reduced resource needs make them an attractive choice. On smaller pastures, they can help control grass growth naturally, reducing the need for mowing and chemical weed control. And for those practicing rotational grazing, their lighter weight means less soil compaction, preserving the health of the land over the long term. Owning miniature cattle is not without challenges. They still require the same basic care as any other bovine: access to clean water, shelter from extreme weather, vaccinations, parasite control, and balanced nutrition. While their size makes them easier to handle, they are still strong animals with natural instincts. Proper fencing is essential, as even a miniature cow can push through weak barriers if tempted by greener grass on the other side. Veterinary care, while often less complex than with large breeds, still requires finding professionals familiar with miniature livestock. And because they are so endearing, owners must be careful not to treat them purely as pets. They are working animals that thrive on structure, routine, and purposeful care. Despite these considerations, the rewards of keeping miniature cattle often outweigh the effort. The bond that can form between owner and cow is surprisingly deep. Miniature cattle often learn to recognize their caretakers' voices, follow them around the pasture, and even show signs of affection, such as leaning in for scratches or licking hands. This emotional connection adds an extra layer of satisfaction to the practical benefits they provide. For many owners, the simple pleasure of seeing a small herd grazing peacefully at sunset is worth every bit of work that goes into their care. Looking toward the future, Miniature cattle are poised to play a bigger role in sustainable and small-scale farming. As land becomes more expensive and consumers demand transparency and quality in their food, the appeal of raising livestock on a scale that is manageable, ethical, and environmentally responsible will only grow. Miniature cattle embody these values in a way that is accessible to a wide range of people, from rural farmers to suburban enthusiasts. They represent not just a smaller version of a traditional farm animal, but a shift in thinking about how we produce food, steward the land, and connect with the natural world. Miniature cattle might have tiny frames, but their role in modern farming is anything but small. They bring together practicality, sustainability, and undeniable charm, offering a way for people to enjoy the rewards of cattle ownership without the challenges of full-sized herds. From the homesteader looking for a gentle, productive animal to the family seeking a unique farm companion, these little bovines prove that farming can be both efficient and heartwarming. Their manageable size, lower upkeep costs, and friendly personalities make them a perfect fit for the future of small-scale agriculture. If you've ever dreamed of having cattle but thought you didn't have the space, time, or experience, miniature cattle might just be the answer. They are living proof that sometimes the most valuable things in life don't come in the largest packages. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories and questions about these amazing little cows.